I'd like to welcome everybody to the May 7th, 2020 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. With us tonight, we've got a full house. I'm Phil Markham, I'll be chairing tonight. Scott Woodbury, our vice chair, is here. Travis Ney, Marion Patterson, Sue Wilson, Lisa Mokevich, Ned Hacker, and staff. We have Jared Hall and Susan Nixon with us. And so with that, we usually go through a whole litany of do's and don'ts for the audience, but since we don't have an audience, I'll dispense with that. I would like to mention that if anyone does have comments that they would like to make and they're viewing this over the internet, that they can submit email questions. And Susan or Jared, do you have the email address?
Go ahead.
planning.commission@murray.utah.gov.
Okay. So say it one more time in case there's somebody.
Planning Commission.
Planning Commission, sorry, all one word,
Okay.
@murray.utah.gov.
Great. All right, great. And if we get those during the course of the meeting, while an agenda item is being discussed, we will read those into the record. So we will still have a pause for a public comment to allow those to come through as well. So we've got a few business items we need to take care of.
Mr.
First
Chair,
on,
can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
Does the host of the meeting have to accept people into the meeting? There's someone that looks like they're trying to enter the meeting.
Got it. That's my fault. I was just seeing an email. We were looking for Bryant a minute ago. Didn't see him, and I was just going to hurry and resend in case we missed him, but he was waiting to come in. Thank you.
Okay, great.
But is that the case? If I notice that, should I bring it to your attention?
Please, because if I'm not seeing it,
Okay.
Because we may have some applicants join, or Bryant Farnsworth representing the attorney's office is joining us now.
And Lisa, you could actually just send a message to Jared, just a private message.
Thank you for pointing that out, Scott. I should have known that.
I mean, you can bring it up for all of us, but I think you can utilize the private message as well.
It would be appropriate. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. First business item is approval of minutes. And we have minutes from the April 16th, 2020 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to go over those minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We had one very minor clerical change that was discussed in the pre-meeting. And so that has been taken care of. Unless anyone has any other concerns, I'm open for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the Thursday, April 16th, 2020 Planning and Zoning meeting.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
All right. I have a motion by Scott Woodbury, a second by Ned Hacker to approve the minutes of the April 16th, 2020 meeting. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. Conflict of interest tonight. Does anyone on the commission have a conflict of interest with any agenda items?
No.
No, I do not either. All right. And finding of fact. We have one finding of fact to discuss and hopefully approve tonight. And that is, it is for the Bonneview apartments, and it looked good to me. I don't have any concerns with it. It looked accurate, and as we had discussed.
Yes, I can make that motion if you want.
Please, Sue.
Motion to approve the findings of fact for a conditional use permit for the Bonneview Apartments, Eric and Dan Bishop with Bonneview Partners for a mixed-use development of 285 multifamily units and 13,503 square feet of commercial space.
Okay. I have a motion.
I'll second the motion.
And a second. All right. So I have a motion by Sue Wilson, and a second by Lisa Mokevich to approve the findings of fact as presented to us tonight. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, very good. All right, now we will get into the meat of our agenda. We have 3 subdivision projects that will be presented tonight. The first one is Lois Lane subdivision at 530 East, 5300 South. This is a flag lot subdivision. And Susan, you'll be presenting this to us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this is an application from Bill West, representing Night West Builders for Lois Lane flag lot subdivision. As you said, addressed at 530 East, 5300 South. The property is approximately 2/3 of an acre in our R18 zone. Flag lots are lots that can be divided without the requirement of a minimum 40-foot frontage on a public road. Basically, they're in the shape of a flag with a driveway or drive access to the rear lot. The basic requirements are the front lot would need to meet the minimum area of 8,000 square feet in the R18 zone. The rear lot, or the newly created lot, needs to be 125% the area of the underlying zoning. So in this case, the rear lot would need to be a minimum of 10,000 square feet. There are two ways of having a flag lot. You can do the drive access, or the pole of the flag, if you could use that wording, can either be part of the rear lot or the front lot. The applicant in this case has chosen to use the access across the front lot going to the rear lot. The access easement also has a minimum requirement of 28 feet in width, which is 20 feet of hard asphalt and 4 feet of landscaping on each side.
Susan, we're not showing any of the presentation on the screen, at least on mine. I've just got the agenda item. There we go. Thank you.
My technical assistant, we got it down. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Great, thanks.
Okay. The property is definitely a different shape. As you can see, it's not typical rectangular or square lot. So this is this came before us about a year ago, but we had to work out some property boundary lines and ownership, kind of fine tune that with our department, city engineer, and Salt Lake County, and we have resolved those issues. The proposal, if I can have you go to the next one, for this subdivision, as you can see on the plat here, there is a 28-foot wide right-of-way going across lot 2, which is the front lot, and back to lot 1. It's about 100 feet in length. This access will also be shared between lot 2 and 1. That way it minimizes having to have two driveways off of 5300 South, which is preferable. Our city engineer thought that was good, and the applicant has decided that works well for him also. The front lot needs a minimum of 8,000 square feet, and the proposal is to split the property almost in half. The front lot will have a square foot area of 14,277 feet, and the flag lot at the back will have 14,477. We sent out approximately 164 notices to surrounding residents. There were just general inquiries, but no opposition. We did receive a couple of inquiries by email. One was from Nick Jensen, again, just general inquiries, and thought this was a good idea to be cleaning up the property. And then Salt Lake County representative, Salt Lake County Flood Control, requested that they have a signature block on the plat, which we have done. There are existing structures on the property. There's an existing home up at the front that is proposed to be demolished. There is also a detached accessory on lot number 1 that will also need to be removed prior to recordation of the plat. And there's also another barn property on the property that is to the south, which is owned by Salt Lake City. Part of the resolution, part of resolving the problem with the property ownerships and boundaries was we weren't sure who owned this property just to the east and south of the proposed subdivision. And it is owned by Salt Lake City. They acquired the property many years ago, and Willowbrook Condos was actually developed on their property and left this remnant piece of property. They do not have any intentions of developing it or any changes to it. They have requested that the barn that is on the property, which they do not own, if that could be removed. We did not make that a requirement because it's not part of the subject property. Salt Lake City also asked if they could have if the developer could build a fence around the subdivision so that it would prevent people from accessing their property and prevent a little bit of liability on their part for Salt Lake City. Again, we can't require that because it's not a subject property, but I'm just passing on the information they had. I think that pretty much covers the information for this proposal. So based on review of all the information and input from the city departments, staff is recommending approval for the flag lot based on the 10 conditions as outlined by staff.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any additional questions or clarifications for Susan? Okay. Well, with that, we'll ask if the applicant is online at this time.
One second.
Sure. And there he is.
I just need to unmute him, I think. Still.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have a picture of him, but there he goes.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, Mr. West, thank you for coming. Do you you've had a chance, obviously, to see the information presented to us tonight, I would hope, beforehand. Are you able to meet the conditions attached to this application?
Yes, we think it would be good, and we think this will be an improvement to that property. It's been needed for a while, really.
Okay. You know, there were 2 additional requests, not really conditions. But I'm just curious as to your feeling about the request from Salt Lake City for a fence and to take down that old barn that is on their property.
We'll probably take down the barn. I'm not too excited about the fence. What we've tried to get them to sell us the property. They have no use for it, no access to it or anything. So I'm not sure I want to help them improve their property.
Understand. Yeah, understand. So, okay. And again, those are not conditions. We were just curious as to, you know, your feelings with regard to that. Is there any additional information that you would like to provide to us tonight?
I don't think so. This is my in-laws' property. So my wife and her brother are the trustees of it now. And so we've kind of been working on this for a long time, trying to there were some interesting title problems we've had to deal with. So I appreciate the city working with us. It's been an interesting challenge.
Okay. Any of the commission members have any questions for Mr. West? Okay. All right. Well, with that, we'll take just a couple of minutes and open this agenda item up for public comment. And again, the public is invited, if you're interested in this one and you would like to say something, to send an email, and we will read that into the record and discuss it if necessary.
Mr. Chair, is this the appropriate time for me to ask just a curiosity question of the staff, or would you like me to?
Sure, go right ahead.
Like I said, it's just curiosity. How does the family or the owner who purchases that second lot know where their lot lines are, or how is that something they would have to investigate, or is it made clear up front? Because without a fence or something delineating that line, most likely they would think that's all their front yard. And it's not something we would make a condition. It's just curiosity. When you buy a piece of property?
We'll be sure and stake the property and show them the actual lot lines.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Susan, could you restate the email address just one more time for us while we're waiting for just a minute?
It is Planning Commission, one word, at Murray.Utah, and Utah is spelled out utah.gov, G-O-V.
Thank you.
And we do not have any emails at this point.
Okay.
We didn't get to pause very long just while we're waiting for any comments to come in on the photos that Susan had taken, but you can see that barn that's been talked
Right.
about back there. Just
Okay. All right. Well, in light of the fact that we didn't really have any concerns prior to the meeting, I'm going to close public comment period and bring this agenda item back up to the commission for any further discussion, or if you so desire, a motion would be appropriate.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve a flag lot subdivision for the Lois Lane subdivision located at 530 East, 5300 South, subject to conditions 1 through 10.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, and that was Travis?
Correct.
All right. I have a motion by Scott Woodbury, a second by Travis Ney, that the Planning Commission approve a flag lot subdivision for the Lois Lane subdivision located at 530 East, 5300 South, subject to conditions 1 through 10 as presented to us this evening.
do you want to call
Please,
it?
yes, call for a roll call vote.
Mr. Hacker,
Yes.
Ms. McCavich,
Yes.
Mr. Ney,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Mr. Woodbury,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, and Mr. Markham.
Yes. Okay, the motion carries, and good luck with your project. I think that's a really intriguing piece of property. It's going to be interesting to see what eventually is built on there. That's exciting.
It really is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, our next agenda item number 5, is final subdivision approval for the Murray Meadows subdivision. And Brad Reynolds Construction is the applicant for this. And Jared, you'll be presenting this this evening?
Yes, thank you. So as you mentioned, this is the final subdivision application for Meadows of Murray. The Planning Commission approved the preliminary plans, the preliminary subdivision at the previous meeting for these properties. There are several properties all included in the subdivision area. They'll all be combined and redivided into 26 lots for twin homes, as you recall. This is the plat that's been prepared. A lot of these things are still the same as preliminary because most of those questions had been answered, had been responded to by the applicants when it came before you for preliminary. However, with the number of lots, we're not able under our code to process preliminary and final at the same time, so we brought them back a couple weeks later. But there really are very few small changes. One of them actually is that the street had to be renamed Fashion Creek Cove instead of Fashion Island Cove. Just wasn't available under county records, so that's been changed. Everything else is still the same. There are still 26 lots. Brad Reynolds Construction is planning to construct the twin homes on them. This is the site plan. Again, very few changes there. It does meet all of our standards. We've gone over those things again. The grading and drainage plan, utility plan's been provided. There was a geotechnical report that was done as requested by the city engineer. That's all under review now and been checked out. The staff is recommending that the final subdivision plat is ready for the Planning Commission's approval. There might be minor corrections to be made in preparing the plat for recording. That sometimes happens as we get it through those stages, but that's the reason that we leave all of these conditions in place. So realistically, these have all been met, except we want to make sure that the plat passes muster with county, so we leave them all in place. That's really all I have, unless you have any questions for me.
Yeah, any questions from the commission? Okay, I think that, as we said, we've seen this item several times over the past 6 months, and so I think we're pretty well versed in it. So with that, I'd like to ask if the applicant or representative of the applicant is present.
I'm here.
Okay, and yes, Mr. Reynolds. Anything you would like to add that we need to know for this item?
No, I think Jared covered it pretty well. I just wanted to thank staff for being so accommodating during these crazy times. I've always been willing to answer phone calls and do whatever's needed to really help us. Also wanted to thank staff for allowing the text amendment for these to be sold as separate twin home units. We're just super excited to be building in Murray again. I think as some of you know, we already have 2 projects going in Murray. We love the city. We love working with the people in it. We're just very grateful for it. We're excited for these townhomes. We feel like it'll be a good addition to the community. I know there was a lot of strife with the neighbors about it being a commercial project, but we're happy to be doing a residential, high quality unit, semi-customizable, granite countertops, 2- and 3-tone paint. Just think it'll be a really good amenity in the community. But yeah, we're grateful for all you've done for us, and yeah, just excited to get this project going if it passes.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. Any questions from commission members? Okay. All right. Seeing none, I'd just like to say I'm excited to have something going into that field. I can't tell you how many times people have asked, what's going on over there for years. And so it's really going to be nice to have a quality development in there. And I think it will add to the city. So with that, I will open this agenda item up for public comment. I didn't ask on all of the conditions, Mr. Reynolds. You have seen them. We've been told that most of them have been completed, but you are comfortable with all the conditions associated with it, and you'll be able to meet those.
We are, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. With that, I would like to open this agenda item up for any public comment. And again, if anyone is watching and they would like to contribute to this agenda item with their comments, it's Planning Commission at Susan, help me out again.
Planning Commission at murray.utah.gov.
Thank you. Thank you. So we'll take a couple of minutes and see if we have anything roll in here.
We haven't had anything yet, but just so you know, that is during that time between it rolls at the bottom of our screen that's in the live stream. So
excellent. Okay.
See the address
Thank you.
at the bottom. Just
That's
so
great.
I'm excited for the twin homes. I think that's going to be a great thing for Murray. I'd like to see more twin homes because, people talk about affordable housing, but it usually ends up being apartments. But I'd like to see people be able to purchase where they live. So this is, I think, going to be a great thing. You get 26 homeowners in that space as opposed, to maybe 13 on a standard lot. So right. I think it's going to be a real nice thing for that area.
I agree.
We talked.
Okay, any comments?
No.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to close the public comment portion of this agenda item and bring it back up to the commission for any additional comments or information that they may request, or I'll also be open for a motion as well.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make motion.
Okay, please.
Make motion that the Planning Commission grant final subdivision approval for the Meadows of Murray subdivision on the properties addressed 6363 South, 525 East, and 533, 551, 565, 583, 593, and 631 East Winchester Street, subject to the following conditions.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. I have a motion by Ned Hacker, a second by Sue Wilson, that the Planning Commission grant final subdivision approval for the Meadows of Murray subdivision on the properties addressed 6363 South, 525 East, and 533, 551, 565, 583, 593, and 631 East Winchester Street, subject to conditions 1 through 9 as presented to us this evening. Call for vote, please.
Mr. Hacker?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Milkevich?
Yes.
Mr. Ney?
Yes.
Mr. Woodbury?
Yes.
Ms. Patterson?
Yes.
Chairman Markham?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Motion passes unanimously. Good luck with your project. We'll be watching.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Our final agenda item for the evening, agenda item number 6, is a subdivision amendment for the Woodward subdivision. And is the applicant present this evening?
Yes.
Okay, great. Jared, you are presenting this again to us, so have at it.
Let me get the screen up. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Running just a second behind here. So this is an application, as you said, for the Woodward Industrial Park subdivision. It's the second amendment. It was amended a number of years ago the first time. So this is the second amendment, and it involves lots 7 through 10. These are the properties you can see that we've addressed there. This is that around the office, we refer to it as the horseshoe off of Commerce Drive, just to your west there. It routes up here and then back out Fifth Avenue. The properties involved are these 4 here, 7, 8, 9, and 10. They are existing. This is the plat, the second amended plat. We can come back to that in just a moment, but I wanted to show you, this is all in the mixed use zone, by the way. And part of the reason that Mr. Woodward has expressed an interest in making some of these changes has to do with that mixed use zone and the ability to build in it and how difficult it can be sometimes. The existing subdivision, you can see these lots here, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10 looks like 2 lots because of the giant easement running down the middle of it, but it's actually one big lot here. So that's the existing situation. And again, 190 West and Commerce is off to your west there. This is the proposal. As you can see, 7 receives some of the property from lot 8 in this situation. And that's because there's a need for additional parking here. So Mr. Woodward will sell some of the property to the owner of lot 7, Jim Peterson, who owns the warehousing here as well, down below. So that creates a possibility for this property to get some additional parking that it needs. Lot 8 then takes half basically of the property from existing lot 9, and the other half of existing lot 9 goes to lot 10. And as you can kind of see, what that does is make these lots just more buildable. It keeps lot 8 a buildable lot, and it makes lot 10 more buildable than it was previously with that easement running down the middle of it. So that's the kind of the purpose behind the amendment, and that is the structure of the amendment. Again, it's been prepared as a plat that can be filed, and that's, in this case, sometimes we do things with lot line adjustments, et cetera, but we have done it in this case with a plat to make sure those easements stay clear and precise and viewable, so that there's no question about their existence, and just to help everyone understand exactly what happened with these changes, so there's no question as to where those lot lines are. With that said, we are recommending approval of the amended subdivision with the following 7 conditions, and they basically have to do with assuring the continuation of those easements and creating a final plat that will pass muster with the county. There's no other real special circumstances for the properties. Do you have any questions for staff at this point?
Questions? No, pretty straightforward, makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you. If the applicant would like to chime in and introduce himself and just give us any additional information that you feel might be helpful, or any clarifications.
Yeah, I'm Brent Woodward, and this will help us develop this. We're in the process now of putting together a plan for lot 8, and hopefully to continue and finish them up. So,
okay, Mr. Woodward, you have seen the conditions attached to this application, and so are you able to meet the 7 conditions?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Okay. All right. Well, as I said, it's pretty straightforward, makes a lot of sense. With that, we will we'll open this agenda item up for public comment and see if there is anybody out there that's interested. I don't think that staff really received any comment prior to the meeting tonight concerning this.
Not.
Okay.
That's not a word.
All right. We'll just take a short amount of time for public comment. Okay, I think we're safe in moving this agenda item along. So with that, I would like to bring close public comment and bring it back up to the commission for any other discussion, or I'm open for for a motion if you so desire.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the requested Woodward Industrial Subdivision Second Amendment plat for the properties addressed 4859, 4863, 4867, and 4873 South, 190 West, subject to conditions 1 through 7.
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you, Lisa. I have a motion by Scott Woodbury, a second by Lisa Mokevich, that the Planning Commission approve the requested Woodward Industrial Subdivision Second Amended Plat for the properties addressed 4859, 4863, 4867, and 4873 South, 190 West, subject to conditions 1 through 7 as presented this evening. Call for a vote, please.
Mr. Woodbury.
Yes.
Ms. Milkevich.
Yes.
Mr. Nay.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Mr. Hacker.
Yes.
Ms. Patterson.
Yes.
Chairman Markham.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes, and good luck with your project.
All right. Thank you for your help.
Thank you. All right, that concludes our agenda for this evening. Any additional information or business from staff?
A couple of quick things just for interest's sake. I think Susan already mentioned that we have next meeting the Applegate condominiums coming in for their new subdivision. That'll be complicated. It's actually 2 different items, one of them being a PUD, and you know how complicated the PUDs get. So, and we have those notices will be going out tomorrow. So just to be aware of that. The other items are, we do have a zone map amendment, a request for the property that you approved a bed and breakfast conditional use permit not long ago. The old house on 45th and Atwood. She's Janet Wall, the applicant, is asking about changing the zoning from GO, general office, to CD zoning. Our general plan supports that. We'll get a report out to you next week, but just put that on your radar as well, because notices will go out about that. And there was some interest from neighbors about that, and there probably would be some more. So if you hear questions about it, that's what that's about.
And the lot line adjustment.
Lot line adjustment. That one's a pretty easy one, but it's kind of fun too because it's different. But there's a lot line adjustment as well coming through. So it has the potential to be, Applegate can make it a pretty long meeting. So
where on the agenda are you going to place the Applegate
at the end? Yeah. So
at the end.
Very end. Applegate.
And when will we get that email?
You mean the invitation to the meeting email, or?
Just with the one that Susan usually sends with the information.
Oh, the agenda?
Friday.
Tomorrow morning.
Oh, the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're fast.
And then the work next week, obviously.
So you've listed 3 items that'll probably be on the agenda that might be bulky within themselves. Are there a lot of items as well, or just 3 bulky items?
Actually, well, before. Technically, it's 4.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's
yeah.
2.
Applegate is 2 separate things. There's an amendment. There's 2 different things. But yeah, 4 things total, 2 of them related.
And probably will be bulky.
It will be bulky.
With Applegate, we'll have them presented at the same time, and we can do one public comment for both items.
Yeah, probably not. We'll probably they're different enough, and I don't want to go into it because it's a little complicated.
Okay. That's fine.
Enough that we'll probably do them separately.
Okay. All right.
On a funner side, the city is participating in a new study called the 7 Greenways study. We're part of 10 cities that will all be looking together at ways in the future. It's a long range plan, but ways in the future to daylight the creeks all through the valley, protect them with trails and things like that. We've done some work on Little Cottonwood, Big Cottonwood, but do some more as a part of this group. That'll be going on over the next 18 months or so, but it's just something fun to know about. People ask about, they're hearing about the 7 Greenways. That's what it is.
Nice. That'd be exciting. Yeah. That's going to be difficult with, the way they snake through the city and that. And,
yeah. Not going to be easy. And that's ours. I mean, Emigration Creek and City Creek, and it's going to be it's a big deal to try to do it, but
right.
Vision
okay.
plan.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Maren, I think you're here. I don't think that's a static picture of you. Okay. But yeah, thanks for taking time to be here. And
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you, Sue. Do I have a second?
Thank
I
you,
was
guys.
waiting for Maren.
We're done. We are done. Good night, folks. Thank you.
Well done, Phil.
Uh-oh.
I just said well done.
Yeah, well done.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, and Susan, enjoy your music.
You know,
Jared, get over your COVID.
You know, I did feel like it's always right when planning.
Travis, meet you at the bar for lunch.
Swallowing my own.
Lisa, see you at Lowe's.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
All right.
Thank you, folks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.